And we are live on YouTube.
Good evening. It is 6:30 p.m. Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. This is a Kearney Board of Aldermen meeting. Call the meeting to order. And we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Shane, if you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shirley, if you had a chance to take roll.
I have taken roll. Everybody is present but Jerry Spencer, but you do have a quorum.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Any questions or items of discussion from the board on the consent agenda this evening?
I make a motion to approve consent agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda passes as presented. Thank you. We'll move on to mayor's remarks. First, I want to take the opportunity this evening to introduce my very special guest this evening, Mr. Shane. Shane, if you want to stand up to make sure everybody can see you. So Shane is one of several kids here in the Kearney community with cystic fibrosis, which is an inherited life-threatening disorder that damages the lungs and digestive system. Although treatment has improved tremendously since Shane was born, there is still no cure. Shane will be participating in a Great Strides walk in May to raise money for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And if you would like to donate, you can find his team information on my mayor page, or you can go to fightcf.cff.org/saving Shane. So Shane, thank you so much for coming and seeing me this evening. And you did a great job opening the meeting and leading us in the pledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. First item I want to discuss under mayor's remarks this evening is, looks like Todd Goffey will not be here, but Todd, we continue to work with Piper Sandler. They've been a great partner with the community and other taxing entities inside the city and all over the Northland. But an opportunity for us to save roughly $100,000 on debt by refunding our 2015 general obligation bond issues to attain a lower interest rate. I had Todd look at a similar a bond a year ago. We saved much more, roughly $225,000. Not the savings that we've been fortunate enough in the past, but then again, just looking at reissuing those of the bonds at the first available call date to save the taxpayers $100,000. So the board's going to be asked to approve a go-to-market resolution and a resolution amending our financial services agreement with Piper Sandler to work with the city to help us obtain the savings on interest rate costs. Any questions or discussion from the board? If not, if you can read the resolution by title only, please.
And there are two of them, Mr. Mayor. First one is a resolution authorizing the offering for sale of refunding general obligation bonds for the benefit of the city of Kearney, Missouri.
Move to approve on the first reading.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'll read the second resolution by title only, please.
It's a resolution amending Resolution 27-2020, a financial services agreement with Piper Sandler to provide additional services with respect to refunding of the 2015 series general obligation bonds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Both resolutions pass. Thank you. Next item I want to discuss under mayor's remarks is a resolution supporting the Kearney School District bond issue. I'm sure, as we are all aware, The Kearney School District is running a zero levy increase bond issue on our April ballot. The bond issue is extremely important for the school to meet the needs of our growing community. Enclosed is a proposed resolution supporting the bond issue. Nothing is more important to the economic vitality of our community than our award-winning school district. Any questions or discussion from the board on my request to pass a resolution in support of the Kearney School District zero levy increase? Could read the resolution, please, by title only.
A resolution of the Board of Aldermen supporting the $44 million zero tax rate increase bond issue.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Resolution passes.
I think we had some copies that we could have sent our school representative home with
You
it.
want me to go get one?
Yeah, so, yes. And that concludes mayor's remarks. We'll move on to the administrator's report.
You get there, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, this evening we have Tyler Riordan with Republic Services joining us via Zoom. We have enclosed a revised renewal. There you go, if you'd like to present that to our,
I think he said that.
pardon?
He said what?
Oh,
I can zoom to the front.
Zoom to the front. Okay, Tyler is with us.
Yes.
In person, and I want to tell you that we have been slow in returning with this revised contract because City Attorney Brian Hall had requested a total redraft of the contract. We offered up our version, and Republic rewrote the contract in its entirety and saved us about 6 or 7 pages.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, cut it down a little
and
bit.
and we saw nothing wrong with what was removed. As a result of the discussions that our board members had at the December the 6th meeting and the follow-up discussions with Tyler, Republic has agreed not to put a cap on the number of bulky items that residents may put out on the 2 citywide cleanups, which was a contention, and I congratulate our board members for making that lobbying effort on behalf of the citizens. The service will be operated as is with the current flyer that we have used in the years past as a contract addendum. With this contract renewal, Republic will no longer be offering curbside yard waste pickup. We had about 18 customers, I think, that were involved.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
The screen blinked off, and I think I leaned on the remote. I didn't know if I did that or not. If that was a
We'll hold you responsible.
I'll lean this way. Sorry.
Like I say, I think there were about 18 customers that had yard waste, and that's simply not enough for us to justify you guys sending a truck to Kearney to service those accounts. And so that has been removed from the contract. There's also additional loads, language in the contract on recycling loads that are deemed by the recycling facilities as being too contaminated. Republic would work with the city on forming a plan to rectify issues as they come up, and we had that happen a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And we were able to recall our recycling committee, and from all understandings, we did have a good communication line, and things got better.
Yeah, a lot of that just ends up being education and kind of re-educating the public on what can and can't go into their recycling cart. So it's a pretty simple process, and if that ever comes up again, I can supply updated flyers with, a list by list item that can or can't go in, kind of the do's and don'ts of recycling. So, but we haven't had any issues with any of the Kearney recycling loads in quite some time. So not a huge concern of ours at all.
The contract does have an inflation factor that is linked to the consumer price index, water, sewer, and trash line item. Republic will agree to cap that at no greater than 4%. So if it were to go up 5%, 4% would be the maximum increment in that year that it would do that.
Yeah, and it spells out in the contract that we're gonna choose the lower of the two. Right now, that CPI, water sewer trash index, has a rolling 12-month average of about 3.61%. Is where we sit right now. Those indexes are going up, so I wouldn't be shocked if it's over 4% by this time next year. But yeah, you guys would be capped at 4%. But if it's less than that, if it ends up being 3.61, that's what your yearly increase would be for the following year. And I would give you guys plenty of time to notify the residents of their new rates based off that percentage.
And our renewal rate is 5.5% over our current rate, and it would be 15.45 for the normal customer. And that does keep Kearney with lower rates than any of our neighbors. Now, I'm not here to explain how that happened, but you must think that we're pretty good at either.
Yeah, we've always been,
streams.
well, I mean, Rob, your guys' driver loves you guys, so we gotta do something nice for him. We gotta keep both sides happy.
But we have a comparison report in there that, in our agenda packet that does identify Liberty at 1770, Excelsior Springs at 1889, and Smithville at 1837. So we don't believe that we would be bettering ourselves by going out for competitive bid. We recommend this, Mr. Mayor, in its final form enclosed. It's been approved by our city attorney, and we recommend approval of that. So, Tyler, if you'd like to add to that, I'd appreciate it.
No, I mean, that's, like I said, we've enjoyed our partnership with Kearney. I know I took over for Hank Potts mid last year, and I've kind of had a hectic 8 months in the role. We made an acquisition down in the Warrensburg area, so one of my main goals this year is to get out in person. Obviously, hopefully COVID kind of slows down where I can start seeing board members and, the mayor more in person than just, the occasional board meeting. But just last year, I was kind of slammed with everything. So I made it a goal for myself to be more involved in the communities and to attend some events, things like that. So I'm really looking forward to even building the relationship even more so than where it's at now. So.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was any questions regarding anything that Jim just covered or.
Any questions from the board? I appreciate you taking our concerns and working with us on those. So I think it's really what we asked them to do.
And remind me again, how long, what is the length of the contract?
This is a 10-year contract, although there are ways it can be terminated earlier.
Okay.
There's outs for service, things like that.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Resolutions enclosed, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, read it by title only, please.
Resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with Allied Services LLC to provide residential solid waste collection and recycling services to the city of Kearney for a 10-year period from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2032.
Make a motion to approve resolution as read.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yep.
Move on to the next item on the agenda this evening, public requests and petitions. We have 2 items to discuss this evening.
Mr. Mayor, Steve Walker is here representing Steve Thorne, who's also in the crowd, and Spencer Thompson is representing them, but I think none of them really need to speak. We have a proposed ordinance enclosed in the agenda packet that would approve a Jamestown Estates final plat, which is 15 single-family lots. Owner Steve Thorne is seeking approval of that. That's in the northernmost end of Jamestown subdivision. And at their February the 14th meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-1 to recommend approval of the proposed plat, and those minutes of that meeting are enclosed. And as I said before, the proposed ordinance is enclosed also for the board to consider.
Anything from staff to report?
I'll just have a couple comments. One, it's consistent with the preliminary plat in Jamestown. It's the last phase. See no additional development. It's just taken a while to get to this point where this phase gets developed. Another comment is they adjusted the street a little bit and reduced the number of lots, 3 lots, so they can make some better lots along the west side that butt up to the floodplain area off the back. So staff looks at the plan being better than the original layout was.
Alderman Barger, anything from our liaison to planning and zoning?
The only thing that I would share with you is that Commissioner Porter was concerned about the water, the runoff, the flood, the potential for flooding. And I think for the rest of the commission, those concerns were addressed, but that was why he just disagreed with the plan.
Okay. Any questions from the board to the applicant or their representatives? John, if you could read the proposed ordinance by title only for the first reading.
An ordinance approving a final plat of Jamestown Estates, a subdivision in Kearney, Missouri, and accepting dedication of right-of-ways and easements thereon.
Make a motion to approve on first reading.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Second reading by title only, please.
An ordinance approving a final plat of Jamestown Estates, a subdivision in Kearney, Missouri, and accepting dedication of right-of-way and easements thereon.
Make a motion to approve on second reading.
I'll second that one as well.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pull the board, please.
Alderman Holt,
Aye.
Alderman Lehman,
Aye.
Alderman Barger.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Congratulations, Mr. Thorne, and we appreciate your continued investment in our community.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
We'll move on to the next item under public requests and petitions.
Mr. Mayor, enclosed is a memo from David Pavlich and a proposed resolution authorizing a right-of-way agreement and right-of-way use permit, subject to compliance with the city's new ordinance concerning a right-of-way that Kevin Smith of Intercept Wireless is seeking approval for. And is he
Kevin's in-
has he
yeah,
joined us?
he's in the audience
Okay,
tonight.
yes. How you doing, sir? And anyway, that resolution is enclosed in 5B.
Any input from staff?
He's following our new ordinance, so we've been submitted an application, filled that out, provided some insurance. We're verifying some nuances in the insurance that we'll take care of, I think, here in the next week or so. His goal is to be a telecommunications provider in the south part of the city, south of 19th Street. So
Much needed.
yeah, there'll be another provider that's available to residents in town, and I assume down the road he'll extend further north as he builds out and hopes to maybe serve everyone.
And this difference is fiber in the homes, is that correct?
Yes, sir, fiber to the home.
With cable and everything?
Yes, true fiber cable to the home, yes.
You can't come on just this side of 19th Street in this first phase. Just,
Maybe just a little bit.
yeah.
How about all the way to 33? Yeah.
I think the high school area needs it first.
Any questions from the board on the request? If you can read the resolution by title only, please.
Resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a right-of-way use agreement with Tiger Computer Consulting, DBA Intercept Wireless.
Make a motion to approve with exception of clearing up insurance issues that you had.
Yeah, we built that in the resolution too.
Okay.
So, appreciate that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Smith. Thanks for being here tonight.
Looking forward to being part of the community.
Great. We have no public hearings this evening, no new or old business. So we'll move on to Alderman discussion. Alderman Holt?
Yes, I had a couple of complaints this weekend, or actually Friday night. I guess the Little Dog Park has a water drainage issue, and some people were concerned about their dogs maybe even drowning. I guess the water's so deep in the holding water down there. I haven't been down there, so I don't know, but I guess water comes into the small dog park, and that we have a draining problem there. I had 2 different people call me on that this weekend, so that's something that I'd like to just throw out that we need to look at. Other than that, that's all I got.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not part of the parks, but we'll take a look at it. I'll make sure we get together and try to get it rectified.
All right. Appreciate that, sir. Yeah, I've been out there several times and I haven't noticed that, but I've not been out there when it's raining or anything either, so.
I was gonna bring it up with Eric, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't here, so.
Alderman Lehman?
I have nothing.
Okay. That doesn't happen often.
Hey.
Alderman Barger?
I do have something. The great thing about being in this community is that we have such a sense of community, and during this last week with the big snow, people pitch in to help each other out, and we had kids, shoveling driveways, and we had policemen shoveling driveways.
Yeah.
And I live out on the west side of town, and someone cleaned the sidewalk from Hills of Westwood all the way to the school. And I don't know who it was, but I think that that is an amazing thing for someone to take the time and make the effort to clean those sidewalks. And so just to let people know that that is much appreciated. Those sidewalks get used an awful lot and all year long. Since they've opened up, I don't think I've ever come home and not seen somebody walking on the sidewalk. So I just wanted to let everybody know that sense of community and taking care of our neighbors is very much appreciated.
In other words, somebody got a new snow blower.
Oh, maybe so.
Yeah.
Hey, what a better way to put it to use.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for that message. With that, can we entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Shane, would you swing this gavel so we can end the meeting? Thank you very much, sir.
Deal.
Thank you. Good job. Everybody have a good evening.